I don't think I've done a 0 to 60 on this bike yet. Launch could have been a little bit better. What's going on, you guys, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Welcome back for another video. Before I get started here, I want to say thanks to everybody who tuned in and watched my 500-mile review of the Rebel 500. That video did really well, a lot better than I really expected it to. It's well over 2,000 views, I believe, right now, which is incredible for only a week being up. I don't think I've had any other video I've ever posted be that high on views in that amount of time. So thank you all for tuning in and watching my 500-mile review. Secondly, while going through my analytics, I did notice one thing. 95% of you who are watching my videos are not subscribed to this channel. So if you're stopping by and you like the content here, please hit that subscribe button if you would. Go ahead, I'll give you a second. Also, leave a like on this video. I'd really appreciate it. Too fat for that uphill pull. I think I got it all. If you want to check it out, I got a YouTube channel. I used to have a Duke 390. It's kind of like similar. Naked bike. Is that your first?
What was that?
Is that your first? Yeah. Yeah, if you want to see it, my channel name's Moto Medicine. Interesting encounter of the day right there. That's pretty cool. So we met a first-time rider with his first bike, Yamaha R3. Solid choice, solid choice. I definitely would choose that bike as my first. So I almost lost track of what I wanted to go over right then. So today's video is just kind of going to go over all the mods that we have done on the Rebel 500 so far. So we'll go ahead and we'll start count with the mods that were kind of already on the bike when I got it, which isn't too many, but there's some decent mods. So when I first picked up the bike, it did have this tiny fly screen windshield on it that I didn't really care for. It also has these little pillow top grips right here, which they're pretty nice. They're comfortable. I like them. They're really grippy too. What a jackass, dude. So on top of that, we obviously have the Two Brothers Racing exhaust, which is really nice. I love the sound of it. And that's a pretty expensive piece, so I'm glad to have gotten this bike with the exhaust already on it. It's definitely one of the choices that I would have went after anyways. I really like the looks of it, and the sound is phenomenal. So if you're looking for an exhaust for this bike, I would definitely check that out. I think my second choice would have probably been the Vance & Hines Upswept exhaust. So the next modification that kind of came with the bike, lastly, is the K&N air filter. So I was going to go ahead and order one, but I was like, you know what? Let me just see what the state of the filter is right now, and if it's stock anyways. So I went ahead and I cracked open the air box, took a look in there, and to my surprise, it already had a K&N air filter in it. So that was also nice, because those are about 45 bucks or so on Amazon. So I didn't have to eat the cost of that. It was already on there. And I'm not sure if this bike came with it from the factory, like if the owner picked it up from the factory when they bought the bike, but it does have the passenger kit on it, which gets you that little rear seat and then the foot pegs for the passenger as well. So when I first got this bike, a lot of the things that I pointed out in some of the previous videos is I love that Honda really made this bike a great blank canvas for customizations. So what I really wanted to focus on first and foremost was the look of this bike. I wanted to add my own style to it. So the first thing I did, which was the previous video to this one, was the flipped mirror mod, which I highly recommend. If you haven't seen that video and you're interested in on how to do this and what parts you need, go watch that video. I explain everything, and I also link the parts in the description of that video. So check that out if you want to flip your mirrors. It gives the bike a whole new attitude, and I think they work really well as well. Oh look, it's our friend. So I was browsing around on eBay and Amazon, just kind of looking up some parts that I'd love to order for this bike, and I stumbled upon this front quarter fairing or front windshield, whatever you want to call it, but but it kind of wraps around the headlight and then up sweeps like so. It's not much taller than the windscreen that I got with the bike, but it does look a whole lot better in my opinion. Not that the fly screen looked bad, because it definitely would have been a style of choice that I would have went for, but this gives the bike a whole new attitude. I love the way it looks. I got it off of eBay for about $70. It doesn't come with instructions or anything. I'm pretty sure they're made in like Thailand or China. It was a pretty simple install. It didn't come with any instructions, like I said, but you can pretty much figure it out. It's just 2 bolts that go on the bottom of the headlight housing that hold on the dust cover, and then you've got 2 that go in the side to hold it in place. And the fit and finish could be a little bit better, but for 70 bucks, I mean, you really can't complain about it. It looks awesome. It does the job. As far as wind protection, it's nothing special, but it will help you out a little bit from having a, you know, totally front naked bike. I like it. I think the looks really set it apart. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link in the description and you can pick one up for yourself. So the next mod I just happened to kind of accidentally stumble upon. I'm on a couple of pages on Facebook for the Rebels, and on one of the pages somebody had just happened to post that they were getting rid of this crash cage, which if you can see it right here, they actually bought it for their 2021 Rebel, and it is listed on eBay as only fitting the 17 and 19. And I'm not sure what would have really changed with the frames with these bikes, but they said it didn't fit, but they were running it on their Rebel 300, which I believe was a 2017, and they're not sure why it didn't fit on their 2021, but it didn't. So this cage actually goes for about $65 on eBay, and I was already eyeballing it as it was because it was so cheap. And it just kind of happened to fall in my lap that they posted they would get rid of it for $30 plus shipping. So I asked them, hey, how much shipped to my house? They said $15. I said, all right, that sounds good to me. 45 bucks shipped. So they shipped it out to me. I got it in no time flat, and then I installed it on the bike. Now the install was a bit of a pain in the ass. There's no instructions yet again, and I did have to shave down one of the clamps just ever so slightly to get it to fit between the engine casing and the frame, which I'm not sure if that's the fitment issue that they ran into, but that's the one that I ran into. I'm not really a fan of the bolt placement either for when you're trying to put those clamps on. You kind of have to get them semi-tight and then kind of slide the entire thing down the frame and then bolt it into place. And to me, it just kind of felt like I was going to mar up my frame from doing that. So I'm not a huge fan of the way that they sought that out. You know, I felt like that could have been better sorted, but it works. It's on there. The install, not a huge fan of it, but it was worth the money in my opinion. So lastly, the thing that I did is I was looking for some side panel covers, and I posted up on a Facebook group for the local San Diego riders, and it wasn't until hours and hours later after I had already ordered an extra left side panel, because if you guys have watched my previous video, I thought that somebody stole it, but apparently it's pretty common that they fall off every once in a while, especially the left-sided one, because there's a bunch of wires behind it, and I guess sometimes they can put just enough pressure, and between the pressure and the vibrations, it can accidentally get pushed off the bike. So it had actually been missing for a couple of days. I went back and looked at some pictures, and I noticed that it was actually gone prior to the day that I shot that video. So like I said, I'm not sure if somebody might have actually stolen it, but I think it might have actually just fell off. I went ahead and I ordered one from Revzilla, and I had posted on Facebook asking if anybody had any extras in the local area. Well, hours later, somebody finally responded, and he was like, hey, I actually have an entire set. Same thing happened to me before, and I'm selling my Rebel right now, so if you want them, I'll give you both sides for 20 bucks. So I was like, all right, sweet. At least then I'll have a full extra set on top of the one I already ordered. That's fine with me, right? So I went out and I met him, really cool guy. He's also active duty. And so funny enough, he actually brought me out a sissy bar to go with them for free. So he had asked me when I first inquired about the side panels if I was interested in it, and he sent me some pictures of it, and I was kind of worried. I was like, I don't know if sissy bars are really my style. I don't know how it's going to look on the bike. I'm not a huge fan of like tall ones or anything like that either. And so he brought it out with him, and he was like, hey, you know, here it is. If you want to use it, you can use it. If not, it's cool. I don't need it, so here, you can have it. So for 20 bucks, I got the side panels and the sissy bar. And of course, you know, since I got it for free and I had it in my hands, I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just fit it on here, see what it looks like. And I'm actually a pretty big fan of it. it actually looks pretty cool. It's not super huge or gaudy or anything like that, so it actually worked out pretty nice. I think it's just the right size, and it gives a little bit more character to the rear end of the motorcycle. I was thinking about doing like a chopped rear fender or a rear fender delete, but I'm thinking that since I ride my bike pretty much on a daily basis, I don't want to have to deal with any road grime, tar, rain, that kind of stuff getting shot up on the back of me, you know, on my backpack or my jacket. So I think I'm going to actually avoid doing that method for now, at least until I get like another motorcycle that I can use, that in case I get caught in the rain won't be a big deal. So for this one, since I don't want to do the rear fender delete, I am thinking about getting like a circular rear tail light, and then like 2 tail lights to go on the sides of the fender. I guess kind of like similar to a Harley Davidson. I also am thinking about getting rid of the center one itself and then just doing the 2 on the sides, and those will function as the brake lights and the turn signals. I'm not huge on like wiring stuff, but I'll do what I have to do to make the bike look the way I want it. But that's just a little bit of information for you guys of what to expect in the future here soon with this bike. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Those are all the mods that I've done so far. If you guys are interested in anything about the Rebel 500, leave a comment down below. I can also possibly make some future videos about it for you. I'm always happy to answer questions. I love your guys' feedback. And like I said, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.